I bring you an update to the story of Ella Goody, who has been missing since March 9, 2022. Ella, who was 33 years old at the time, was last seen in Scott, Louisiana, where she lived with her two children. She had recently begun driving for Lyft and started offering rides outside the app. The day she went missing, she was supposed to drive someone to Houston, Texas, and was expected to be back by the time. Her daughters arrived home from school, but Ella never came back home, and no one ever saw her again. Almost 3 years later, the person responsible for her disappearance has finally been charged. This is Ella's story. This week I bring you yet another update on a cold case of January 2023 that she had been missing for 11 months at the time. And there seemed to be a lot of information surrounding her disappearance. However, police seem to be having difficulty locating enough information about what happened to her to charge anyone or to locate her. But last week, the Louisiana State's Attorney announced that Brandon Francisco had been indicted for the murder of Ella. According to the press release from the Louisiana State's Attorney Court, United States Attorney Brandon B. Brown announced that a federal grand jury in Lafayette has returned an indictment charging Brandon Jermaine Francisco, 38, of Mansell, Louisiana, with carjacking resulting in the death of Ella Goody. In addition to the one count of carjacking resulting in death, the indictment charges Francisco with one count of using a firearm during the commission of a crime of violence, one count of possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, and one count of flight to avoid prosecution. The indictment alleges that on or about March 9, 2022, Francisco, with the intent to cause death and serious bodily harm, took a 2012 Audi Q5 Sport utility vehicle from the victim Ella Goody by force, violence, and intimidation, resulting in the death of the victim. It also alleged that on March 9, 2022, Francisco knowingly used and discharged a handgun 9mm caliber firearm during and in relation to a crime of violence, which is in case is car hijacking. It is further alleged in the indictment that Francisco possessed the handgun, the 9mm caliber, with 4 rounds of ammunition. On or about March 25, 2022, knowing he had previously been convicted of a felony crime. The indictment also alleges that from on or about March 9, 2022 until on or about March 25, 2022, the Western District of Louisiana, Francisco traveled in interstate commerce with the intent to avoid prosecution under the laws of the state of Louisiana for a crime punishable by death under the laws of the state of Louisiana, unquote. Francisco's arrest is welcome news for Ella's family, who had been desperately searching for justice. However, Ella's body has not been found, and so there are still many unanswered questions. Those who have listened to Ella's story may remember Brandon Francisco because he was the last person to see Ella alive, and at the time of his indictment, he was already serving a 30-year sentence for an unrelated crime. He had always been a person of interest in this case, but now that he has been indicted, we know that he, in fact, was responsible for whatever really happened to Ella. For those who haven't heard Ella's story or forgot the details, we are here with this update. Ella is originally from Lafayette, Louisiana, a city located about an hour from Baton Rouge. She had grown up there with her mother and her younger brother. Her best friend Felicia spoke with Dateline last year to talk about Ella's disappearance, and she told them that Ella's mom is disabled, and so ever since she was a kid, Ella took care of her and helped take care of her little brother. Quote, she had to step up as a kid, look after her brother, help her mama. Felicia told Dayline she said that from the moment that she met Ella, she wanted to look after her because life was a little bit harder for her. But she also said that no matter what Ella was going through, she always had a unquote good spirit. Her cousin Amy said in a different interview with the local Fox News station that quote, "She is a pure-hearted girl and she is strong, she is brave, she just has a good heart she is always friendly with everybody, always happy." Now, there isn't a lot of public information about Ella's life, and so we don't have details about her teenagers or her early adulthood. We don't know that by the time Ella was in the 30s, she was a mother of two girls and she was living in a small town of Scott, Louisiana, which is located in Lafayette Parish. Felicia told Dateline that in early 2022, Ella was looking for work and she said that she suggested that she try working for a ride-share service like Lyft. Felicia said that at first Ella was apprehensive about doing it because she didn't want people getting in her car. However, Felicia said that she was able to convince Ella that she should do it, and so Ella began driving for Lyft. And while initially she had concerns about it, eventually she started to like it. After a couple of months, Ella had decided that she would offer people rides outside of the app. She probably realized that she could just cut out the middleman and offer people rides directly. If she had met people through the app that she had given rides to a few times, then why not have them just contact her directly to maximize her profits? On Tuesday, March 8, 2022, Felicia said that she spoke to Ella on the phone. She said that she had a normal conversation and that they talked about their weekend plans, and Ella told her about the people that she had been meeting and driving places. Now we don't really know what happened next, but on March 9, the following day, Ella was contacted by someone who needed a ride to Houston, Texas. According to reports that morning, Ella left her home in Gott. However, we don't know what time. Now, according to her family, she called her daughters after she left and told them to get ready for school and make sure that they went. Ella told them that she was heading to Houston to drop someone off and that she would be back by the time they got back from school. The drive from Scott to Houston is about 3 hours, so round trip it's about a 6-hour drive. And depending on what time she had left, Ella would have easily been back later that afternoon now. Later that day, Ella called her brother around noon and she told him that she was driving someone to Houston and that everything was fine. She told them that they had stopped to get gas, but it was the last time that anyone in Ella's family ever spoke to her again. That afternoon, Ella did not return home like she said. Felicia said that she called Ella on the 9th, but that she did not get an answer and Ella never called her back. She said the next day, after still not hearing from Ella, she called Ella's oldest daughter and she said she asked her to tell her mom to call her now. Felicia said the girls did not mention that they had not seen their mom since Tuesday. It's not clear if the girls were home or if they were with someone else, but it was not until Felicia called them back on Friday that she learned that Ella had not come home. By the time Felicia knew anything was wrong, no one had seen or spoken to Ella in days. On March 11, 2022, after no one was able to reach her, Ella's brother filed a missing persons report. When police received the report and learned from her family about Ella's trip to Texas, they started their search to locate her by reviewing surveillance cameras along the route that they would have driven. And right away they were able to locate Ella's black Audi Q5 traveling on the highway toward Houston in the early morning hours of March 9th. And then 12 hours later, cameras again captured Ella's car, and this time it was heading back towards Louisiana. The following day, March 10th, her car is again spotted on surveillance, but this time it's back in Texas, north of Dallas. Now, from the pictures of Ella's vehicle, it appears as if the windows are tinted, and so I'm not sure if the police were able to identify who was driving the car when it was seen, but the movement of the vehicle was suspicious. First, it is seen driving to Texas, which is consistent with what Ella's family and friends knew about her taking someone to Houston. But then 12 hours later, it's seen traveling back to Louisiana. But Ella never comes back home. And then the following day, her car is back in Texas, this time near Dallas. Ella's family had also informed police that she was supposed to be taking someone to Houston, and so police began to focus on who that person was, and they learned that the person who asked Ella to take them to Houston was a man named Brandon Francisco. Now, how they learned about Brandon is not known, and her family in the early days after her disappearance were not sure how Ella ever knew Brandon. But her cousin later said that he was someone that she had given rides to a few times and was someone that she felt comfortable with. But now, Ella was missing, and the last person known to have seen her was Brandon. Once Brandon was discovered as being the last person to see Ella, he immediately became a person of interest. Ella's devastated family began searching for themselves while police tried to figure out what happened. Soon the local media in and around Lafayette began to pick up the story of Ella's disappearance. In the week after her disappearance, Ella's family spoke to the media to spread awareness about what was happening, and in an interview with KATC3, her Aunt Rose made this play know that your family is never ever is going to give up on you. We are gonna always waste. We're going to look for you until God say, tell us one way or the other, but we here for you, so please. Ella, if whatever you could do to get away, find a way, please. Her family was worried, but they were hopeful that Ella would be found safe. Her cousin said this. Hopefully, no, we are not expecting any type of play. All we want is for her to come home safe. Hopefully, no, we are not expecting any type of play. All we want is for her to come home safe. And whomever you are, if you are watching this, all we ask is that you turn yourself in and let it go. On March 16, 2022, police announced that Brandon Francisco was officially a person of interest in Ella's disappearance. They also asked for the public's help in locating him because he had an active warrant for failure to show up to court on the day that Ella drove him to Texas. Brandon was set to appear in court on charges of attempting murder, conspiracy to commit murder, armed robbery, unlawful use of removable, and obstruction of justice. Charges that stemmed from an incident that took place in 2018. Now, while police tried to locate Brandon, Ella's family and friends organized searches and handed out flyers. They also set up a social media page called Help Find Ella, which they used to spread information and to keep people up to date. Both Ella and her car were missing, and her cell phone has last pinged, according to police in Iowa, Louisiana, and so her family organized searches there too. Her friend Felicia spoke to KLFY10 about their efforts to find Ella. Was last in Iowa, track was last SE in Dallas. So we just going to start in Iowa and go from there. We don't even have the exact location that cop been given so. But her family and friends early on felt like the police were not doing enough to search for Ella. Felicia expressed her frustration about the lack of urgency on behalf of the police, saying this. There's a lot of people that went missing in Lafayette, and they had way more help than we getting with Ella. That had airplanes in the sky, dogs on the ground, and they had boat in the water. We don't have nobody. We pulled up. We asked everybody for help. The same day that Felicia gave that interview, the police announced that the FBI and the US Marshals were joining the investigation. because of the multiple jurisdictions involved. But even with their involvement, Ella's family and friends still felt like she was not a priority for them. According to them, in the days after Ella was reported missing, it seemed like they were the only ones really looking for her, and they were determined to find her. On March 9, 2022, Ella Goody left her home in Scott, Louisiana to drive someone. She had met to Houston, Texas, but when she never returned home, her family reported her missing. Surveillance captured her car traveling to Texas that morning, and then 12 hours later, it's again seen, but this time heading back to Louisiana. The next day, her car is seen in Dallas, but Ella was never seen again. 2 weeks after her disappearance, the FBI joined the investigation, but Ella's family and friends grew more and more frustrated about the lack of attention that Ella was receiving. Early on their investigation, police learned that Brandon Francisco was the last person known to have been with Ella, and he had been named a person of interest. However, police had also learned that Brandon was a wanted man with a violent past on the day that Ella vanished. He was supposed to appear in court on multiple charges that included attempted murder. He also had been arrested and served time for statutory rape and attempted second-degree murder in 2008. He was someone with a violent past, and to know that Ella was last known to be with him is frightening. On Friday, March 25, 2022, after receiving a tip about his whereabouts, U.S. Marshals located Brandon in St. Joseph, Missouri, 12 hours from Lafayette Parish, and Scott, where Ella lived. Brandon was pulled over while driving down the street. Police said that initially he tried to resist arrest but was eventually taken into custody and was placed in jail in Missouri to await extradition. He was denied bond, and 4 days later an extradition hearing was held for Brandon Francisco, who decided that he would fight the extradition. He asked the judge to appoint a public defender to help him fight it. While Brandon Francisco sat in jail in Missouri, Ella's family continued their search efforts, and even as the days went by with no information, her family kept hope that Ella would be found safe. On April 1, 2022, almost a week after Brandon was arrested, police located Ella's Audi in St. Joseph, Missouri, the same place where Brandon had been arrested. In unclear how police located the vehicle, but after it was found, it was impounded so that evidence could be collected. State Trooper Derek Senegal told KFLI Code they are going to continue to look through that whole vehicle on a deeper level other than just looking and confirming that is it. Okay, what else can we see? Other fibers in the carpets? Is there something else in the fabric? Maybe we can get a finger point of the upholstery or the window or anything like that. We are going to continue to go through that whole vehicle inside and out. When asked how Ella's car ended up in the same place that Brandon had been arrested, he said, quote, all these things have to be put together and continue digging to figure out what's going on and how we can piece everything together. If there is, or could be, or maybe there is someone else involved in this thing, we just have to make sure we continue to look and not just say, hey, we are good, we found it, and just close the case. We just can't do that. So we are going to continue to look and exhaust every effort that we have. For her family, the news that the car was found was a lot to process. But they were also concerned about false information that had begun circulating on social media. We know how social media can often take things like this too far when it comes to these cases. The family spoke out and asked police to stop. A spokesperson for the family told KF Code, the family is full right now with emotion, trying to understand these new developments and what they mean or what they could mean. The family is still hopeful that Ella is still alive, but right now they are worried that all these interactions, specifically with things being reported to the FBI, reported to Scott police, is kind of getting in the way of the investigation that is taking place. Her family wanted the focus to remain on finding Ella alive, and they were afraid that the rumors and conspiracy theories would hurt their efforts to find her. On April 6, Brandon was extradited back to Louisiana, and he was again denied bond, but he was not charged with anything involving Ella's disappearance. Police said that they questioned Brandon about what happened to Ella, but what he said has never been revealed. Like I said earlier, the FBI had already joined the case, but so far Ella's family had not been given a lot of information. On April 19, search was conducted in the area where Ella's phone last pinged. According to reporting done by KFY10, the Louisiana State Police who were leading the investigation were joined by several other agencies who went to Iowa, Louisiana, and conducted a search within a 50-mile radius. The police said that there were certain areas in the radius that they were targeting. Trooper Derek Senegal spoke to the news station and said this about the search efforts. "We have Louisiana State Police out here. We have Louisiana State Police air support had helped us out here. We have the Louisiana Department of Wildlife and Fisheries, Calaso Sheriff's Office, and we also have the Classkids National Research Organization that is assisting with us next." Unfortunately, after the search was finished, police said that they found no new evidence, but they said that they would continue to search in that area as the weeks went by. There was no answer about Ella's whereabouts. Everyone, including police, knew that Brandon Francisco was the last person known to have been with Ella. Her car was found weeks later in the same place where he was arrested. But whatever informed police have found out about Ella's disappearance, they have not released. When it comes to Brandon, he remained in jail while he awaited trial. However, when it came to evidence and information about Ella's case, there seemed to be nothing. After her car was found, no information was released about what was found in the car, and aside from her phone pinging in Iowa, there is no information tracking its movements or presenting a timeline. On March 3, 2022, almost 2 months after Ella vanished, police made an announcement that they were now investigating Ella's disappearance as a homicide. In a press release, Louisiana State Police said, quote, "Based on investigative techniques and witness statements, detectives and investigators have transitioned from a missing persons case to a homicide investigation." Ella's family, however, was not stayed by what police were saying. They were still pushing forward and looking for Ella alive. During a vigil held for Ella on May 20th, her cousin Amy, when asked about how she felt about the police declaring this case of homicide, said this: "It don't make me feel no type because I don't believe it's homicide because there is nobody. I mean, how could it be a homicide when there is nobody down? I mean, I don't believe it." She said that they believe that Ella was somewhere, possibly being held against her will. "I feel like she is in a dangerous situation. I think that's the body have her, against so well. But I really feel in my heart that she will be set free. They are going to have to let her go. But we know she is not dead. We know she is the last if." It was one thing about this family, it was that they were determined to bring Ella home. But like other families of missing black women, they found themselves receiving very little help and no information. Once FBI joined the case, her family thought that it would make a huge difference. I mean, so many families beg for the FBI to get involved because they know that they have better resources and can help in big ways. But for Ella's family, that wasn't what happened. Even with the FBI involved, there was a very little being done from their standpoint. There was a person of interest, and they seemed to have enough information to conclude that Ella was no longer alive. But for whatever reason, have decided not to tell her family or the public what that information was or where it came from. They also have not been able to explain why Brandon Francisco has not been charged or why they won't release information about what he said happened. In October 2022, NBC featured her story as part of their Missing an American series. It so far has been the only mainstream media outlet to report on Ella's disappearance. As part of their story, they reached out to the Louisiana State Police, who said that there was no new information about this investigation at that time. In August 2022, 2 weeks before he was set to stand trial on the unrelated charges, Brandon Francisco pled guilty as part of a plea deal and received a 30-year sentence. 2 years later, Brandon Francisco has now been charged with Ella's murder, and although there has been a piece of the mystery that has been solved, Ella's body has not been found, and therefore her story is still incomplete. Now that the truth has been revealed about what happened to her, her family just wants to be able to lay her to rest the way she deserves. May Goody rest in peace.